Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in this particular video we are going to discuss all the questions which were asked from quantum chemistry in your GATE 2020 exam, right? Now you all know that the exam is quite near. We have CSIR NET exam in next few months, and also we have GATE exam approaching soon, right? So we have to know that how to solve a particular question. Basically your problem solving skill has to be of a very good level in order to like approach the exam, right? So this particular video has that particular motive only. That means I am making this particular video and these upcoming few videos to enhance your problem solving skill for the exam. Okay, so this is going to be a topic wise solved problem series in which I'll be taking questions from GATE 2020 and from CSIR NET recent exams on a specific topic, and I'll be telling you that how to solve them. So this particular video is for quantum chemistry. The upcoming videos will be on more important topics like molecular spectroscopy, then we have thermodynamics. So we'll deal with that in the upcoming videos, but for today we'll be talking about quantum chemistry. Okay, so we'll be taking all the questions which were asked from this topic in GATE 2020. So overall there were three questions which were asked from this particular topic. Okay, so there were three questions from this particular topic, and all of those will see that how to solve them. All right, so let's quickly dig into it. The first question which you can see right now on your screen was a one marker question, and the question says that among the following linear combination of atomic orbitals, the correct representation of the lowest unoccupied pi molecular orbital of butadiene is. Okay, so now this particular question is actually from your quantum mechanics and from your Huckel molecular orbital theory. Okay, so this is the topic from which this question is about, and these questions are very simple to approach. Okay, they are very simple to approach. You don't have to memorize, you don't have to calculate anything over here. Just by your intuition or just by understanding the concept you can easily answer it. I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so basically a butadiene looks like this, right? CH2 double bond CH, single bond CH, and then we have CH2. This is how a butadiene looks like. So you have four pi electrons. That means you will be having four molecular orbitals like psi1, psi2, psi3 and psi4, right? So just roughly draw them. Okay, so just roughly draw all those four molecular orbitals. Just draw them like this. Okay, this is how I am going to draw. You know that how to draw it, right? It's pretty simple to approach, and if you don't know about it, I have made a video on Huckel molecular orbital theory, and I'll be giving the link of that so you can watch that video just to understand that how to solve these questions in a shortcut manner. Okay, fine. So if I shade the positive part of the lobes, so for the psi1 you won't be having any node over here, so your psi1 will be like this. Okay, your psi2 will have a single node, and that means if I draw these positive orbitals, so the positive orbitals from here will be on the downward direction because of a node at this particular point. Same goes for your psi3. Here you will be having two nodes, so one node will be at this point, so the sign will change, and one node will be at this point, so the sign will change here as well. And this goes your psi4, and here we will be having three nodes, so first node here, so the sign changes here, then one more node, so the sign again changes, and one more node, so the sign again changes like this. Okay, now they are asking about the lowest unoccupied pi molecular orbital of butadiene. Butadiene will have 4 pi electrons. So if I fill those pi electrons, they will be filled like this. So 2 pi electrons here and 2 pi electron here. So this is how it will be. So my HOMO will be my psi2. So psi2 will be my highest occupied molecular orbital, and this psi3 will be my LUMO, that means lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, and that's what it was asked. Now you just have to look upon the wave function. Okay, you just have to look upon the psi3 orbitals, that how does it looks like. You have to see that how many times the sign has been changed. So you got plus in the starting, then you got minus, okay, because the sign has changed. Now the sign has not changed for the next orbital, so it will remain minus, and at the end again you will have plus. So this is how the wave function should have. This pattern is what you have to look upon in the wave function, and that's how you can answer the question. So if you look upon the options, where do we have this? That you should have plus, minus, minus and plus. Okay. So if you look upon it, this option number B is the one where you have plus here, then minus, minus and then again plus. You don't have to look upon the wave function, these coefficients, you don't have to look upon any of the thing. This is the easiest way how you can approach this question. Okay. Although the correct method is quite different, where you have to calculate all these coefficients, you have to see them and then solve it, but I am not going into that. I am just telling you that how you can approach this in the minimum amount of time. Okay. So this was about your question number 1, which was asked in your GATE exam. Let's take the next question now. Alright, so let's take the next question, which was asked for 2 marks here, and the question was actually from your hydrogen atom problem. It says that the hydrogen like radial wave function of the 3s orbital is given as. So this is the wave function, or basically this is the hydrogen like radial wave function, which is given to you. R30 is equals to 1 upon 9 under root 3 z upon a naught whole to the power 3 by 2, 6 minus 2 rho plus rho square by 9 and e to the power minus rho by 6. Where rho has a particular value, it's like 2zr divided by a naught, where z is your atomic number, r is the distance from the nucleus, and a naught is your Bohr radii. The position of the radial nodes, okay, they are asking about the radial nodes in the unit of a naught of the 3s orbital r. So that's what they are asking to find it out. Now this is also a pretty simple question. The topic from where this has been asked is your hydrogen atom problem. Okay, hydrogen atom problem of your quantum mechanics. So how to do this question? It's very simple. Okay, you have to look upon first of all that this particular thing is a radial part which is already given to you. You have to find out nodes. What are nodes? Nodes are those points where the probability of finding electron is 0. Okay, you cannot, like, where you don't find electrons over there. So in order to find out nodes, what you have to do is you have to take this whole radial wave function is equals to 0. That means either this part will be equal to 0, or this part will be equal to 0, or this part will be equal to 0. If you take this particular part is equals to 0, in that case you will get the value of a naught to be 0. That's a boundary condition, because the smallest value of a naught will be 0 and the largest value of a naught can be infinite. So if you take this part is equals to 0, and if you put the value of rho here, you will find out that the value of a naught which you will get will be infinite. So from here you will be getting a naught is equals to 0, and from here you will be getting a naught is equals to infinite. Both of them are boundary conditions. So we don't consider the boundary conditions, because a wave function is actually 0 at the boundary condition. For example, if you remember, for particle in a box problem, if you draw a particular wave function, if it has it will be something like this. So we don't consider these 2 points as the nodes. We consider this as the first node, this as the second, this as the third, and this as the fourth. So we will say 4 nodes are there in this particular wave function. We don't consider these boundary conditions. So same thing goes with this problem as well. So you don't have to consider this part and this part. What else is left out? You just have to take that is equals to 0. So that's what I am going to do. So 6 minus 2 rho plus rho square upon 9, I am going to take it is equals to 0. That's it. Okay. So I am going to take that particular part in order to find out the number of nodes and the value of nodes. Now you have to make this as a quadratic equation. So this will become rho square minus 18 rho, and it will be like plus 9 6 times is 54 is equals to 0. This is what you will get if you take LCM and if you just multiply the 9 to the other side, and this is what you will get. Now this particular one is a quadratic equation, and the roots of quadratic equation can be calculated using SD formula that you might have studied in class 9th. Okay, so it's pretty simple thing. That's why I hope that all of you know about it. The SD formula says that your value of whatever is here, if you have an equation like this, that ax square plus bx plus c, if you have an equation in this form, then your value of x is given by minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is how we calculate the value of x, okay, according to the SD formula. So we will use our same like wave function, or not wave function, but basically we will use the same quadratic equation and we'll use the SD formula to calculate its value. I'll do it on the next slide. Alright. So I was having this particular value of my quadratic equation. What I have to do is my rho will be equal to minus b, that means minus 18 plus minus under root b square, that means minus 18 square, b square minus 4ac. So that goes like 4, a is 1 here, c is 54, right. So that's what I'll be having, and if I divide whole of this thing by 2a, that means by 2, okay, because the value of a over here is 1. So in the next step I'll play a little smartly over here. This row you can see, or I'll just do it on the same line. You know that this particular minus and minus will become plus, so it will become 18. Then you have plus minus under root. Now here what I can do, I can take 18 common from there, right. Now in the bracket, since I have taken 18 outside, I'll be having 18 left out because it was 18 square. So one of the 18 which I have taken outside, the other 18 will be over there itself. Minus 4, and since this is a factor of 18, 3 times is 54. So I can just write down 4 multiplied by 3 and divided by 2. That's what I can do now. Okay, so I have just tried to simplify the equation. That's it. Okay. In the next step, what is going to happen is this, that is 18 plus minus and under root. This will become 18 multiplied by 18 minus 4 times 3 times is 12. So 18 minus 12 is 6. So 18 minus 6, that's what I will be getting upon 2. Now I have to just factorize this, and I have to just take the things which are which can be taken common over here. So my rho will be equal to 18 and plus minus over here. I can just write down 18 as like I can just write down it as 3 into 3, that is 9 into 2, and 6 can be written as 2 into 3. Alright. So that means if you see over here, this is a under root, and the things which can be paired up, that can be taken outside of it, right. So this 3 and this 2, 3 into 2 is 6, so 6 can be taken outside. So the value of rho will be like 18 plus minus, when I will take this outside, this will be 6 under root 3 divided by 2. If I divide everything by 2, basically I will be getting the value of rho as 9 plus minus, and this will be 3 root 3. So this is the value of rho which I have got. Okay. Up till here I have just solved it for rho. I have not calculated my radial nodes up till here. Okay. I have to put the value of rho now to calculate it further. So what I got rho is equals to 9 plus minus 3 root 3. Let's put the value of rho from the question and then do the next part of the solution. So according to the question, your rho was equals to 2ZR upon A naught. So I am just going to substitute its value over here to solve it further. So 2ZR upon A naught is equals to 9 plus minus 3 root 3. Now this R is going to tell you the radial nodes. Okay, that is going to give you the value of radial nodes. So just you have to find out the value of R from here in the terms of A naught. So R will be equal to 9 plus minus 3 root 3 divided by 2Z and A naught. So the two values of R which you got are these. Okay, you got R is equals to 9 plus 3 root 3 upon 2Z A naught, and the other one which you got is 9 minus 3 root 3 upon 2Z A naught. So the question was about you have to tell the values of radial nodes in terms of A naught. So one of the value of radial node will be this, the other value of radial node will be this. Okay, so you got two values of radial nodes, and that's what will be your correct answer. So let's look upon the options, that which one matches our solution. So if you see it, you can see that 9 plus 3 root 3 upon 2Z and 9 minus 3 root 3 upon 2Z, option number C becomes your correct choice. One correction which I have to make in this solution is that here you do not have to calculate the value of A naught, you have to actually calculate the value of R. Okay, so I just made a mistake over here, I should not have done like that, sorry about it. But yeah, here in the value of rho, if you put 2ZR upon A naught, here you will be getting R is equals to infinite. Okay, what you will be getting? You will be getting R is equals to infinite, and that's a boundary condition. So that's why we have not taken this function. we just have to take this function, okay. So that's a particular correction which I wanted to make in this solution. So yeah, that's how it will be done. Rest of the solution and rest of the part is same. You just need to solve this, and that's how we have calculated the value of rho, then we have substituted the value of rho, and then find out the value of r, because that is going to tell us the radial node in terms of a naught, and that's what we got, okay. So this was about the second question which was asked from quantum mechanics in your GATE 2020 exam, and this question was a 2-marker question, alright. So it was a pretty good question. Let's go for the next question and see how to solve that out. Alright, so the next question is the last question of this particular video. These were the only 3 questions which were asked from your GATE exam. It is again a 2-marker question, and this is a numerical answer type question, okay. So it's a numerical answer type question where you have to tell a particular value. You don't get actually negative marking for these questions, but yet you should be aware about it. You should be very careful with the solution. So the question says that the percentage error, okay, round off to 2 decimal places, that's what they want you to, and in the ground state energy of the particle in 1-dimension box of length a, described by the trial wave function. The trial wave function is given by this, where 0 is greater than or equal to x is greater than or equal to a. So basically they are telling that your x belongs to 0 and a. It is between the boundary of 0 and a. That's what they are telling. It's also given that the true ground state energy of the system is given as h square upon 8 ma square. And they have also given you one more hint that 0 to a, if you do that's phi star phi. So basically you will be having a to the power 5 by 30. So they have given you these hint. You have to utilize them to calculate the percentage error in the ground state energy. So let's try to solve this and see how to approach this particular question. Alright, so to answer this particular question, you need to know first of all how to calculate percentage error. So since we have to find out percentage error in your the energy like the ground state energy which you will get from the trial wave function, and you are also given with the actual energy or the true energy. So basically your percentage error is equals to E trial, okay, the energy which you get from the trial wave function minus E actual or E true, whatever you will write down here, divided by E actual, okay, actual or true you can mention it in any way. Now you are given with few values already, that means you are given with E actual already, and its value is h square upon 8 ma square, alright, and you have to calculate E trial. Now that is one of the tasks which is very which is not that easy to approach, okay. Many of the students were not able to approach it because of this only. So E trial, okay, how to find it out, that you need to, for that you need to take help of this particular trial wave function. So basically you have to calculate the energy or the expectation value of energy from the given wave function, okay. So you need to find out the value of energy, okay, E trial basically. So that will be actually calculated by this. It will be done from in this particular region, that is from 0 to a, and it will be like phi star h phi, and this is h is your Hamiltonian operator, and divided by from 0 to a, it goes like phi star phi, alright. So this is what you are given, this is what you have to do. H is a Hamiltonian over here, you know that the Hamiltonian is sum of your kinetic energy operator and the potential energy operator. So minus h cross square upon 2m del 2 by del x square, that's the kinetic energy part, and plus you will have potential energy part. Now since it's about a particle inside a box which will be actually moving, which will not be at rest, so it won't be having this potential energy part in it. So we can just neglect the potential energy part. So that's why I am just erasing the potential energy part, okay. So the value of Hamiltonian will be your minus h cross square by 2m del 2 by del x square. Phi is already given to you in the question. You have to substitute them. You have to, sorry, I have made a mistake here. Yeah, I should not have written it. Yeah, phi star, and this has to be phi. Okay, so you just have to put these things. This value you already know, right? This is given to you as a to the power 5 by 30. So let's first of all do this numerator part. Let's calculate this numerator part in the next slide, and then we'll substitute and solve it, okay. So let's try to do this. So once you will start solving from 0 to a, you have phi star h phi d tau. Okay, I should have also written that also. Okay, so it goes d tau and d tau in both the places. Alright, so here if you put the values, your phi star will be like, I just have to put the value, the phi star will be as it is, it's like x a minus x. So basically I can write down the things here so that it becomes handy for me. So it is x and a minus x. So phi and phi star both are actually same. So I will be substituting them over here. So I will be having from 0 to a, and my phi star will be like x and a minus x. The value of Hamiltonian is it goes like minus h cross square upon 2m del 2 by del x square, alright, and then I will have this, that is x a minus x, that is the value of phi, and instead of d tau I will be writing it as dx. Okay, so this is as simple as it is. This h cross square upon 2m is a constant. I can take it outside of the differentiation, sorry, out of the integration. So I will be having in the next step minus h cross square upon 2m can be taken outside. Integration from 0 to a, it goes like x a minus x, and I will be just having this part, that is del 2 by del x square of I will multiply it inside. So, it is ax minus x square dx. Okay. So, what I have to do, I have to differentiate it 2 times. So, I will do it in the rough, over here in the rough space whatever I have. Okay. So, I have to differentiate it 2 times. So, when I differentiate once, d by dx of ax minus x square. So, I will be getting a, because the differentiation of x is 1. So, I will be just getting a, and minus the differentiation of x square is going to give me 2x, alright. So, this is what I will be getting, and when I differentiate it again, that means if I do it d by dx of d by dx, so basically I am doing 2 times differentiation. So, I have to differentiate it once again. So, the differentiation of a will be 0 and the differentiation of 2x will be minus 2. So, this whole term will give me minus 2, that is all. So, I will be just substituting the value here now. So, in the next step, what I can do is I can write down minus h cross square upon 2m integration from 0 to a, this goes like x and a minus x, and the value of this is minus 2m, right. So, I can take that out from the integration because it is a constant term. So, I will take it outside. So, minus 2, okay, and this goes dx. Now, see, you can cancel out this 2 and this 2, and this minus and minus will become plus. So, the next step will be h cross square upon m, and now you have to integrate. Okay. So, I will be just doing the rest of the part in a particular bracket. So, integration from 0 to a, it goes like ax, integration of ax minus integration from 0 to a of your x square dx. Okay. So, here also you should have dx. So, it is pretty simple to integrate this step. You just have to write it down like this. You have got h square by h cross square by m, and the integration of a will, like a is a constant, so that won't get integrated. X, the integration of x is x square by 2. So, you got a and x square by 2, but here you have to put lower limit and upper limit, alright, minus this side you will be having x cube upon 3, lower limit and upper limit, that is all. You have just integrated and you have just done the most complicated part of the solution. Okay. In the next step, the things are pretty simple now. You have to just put upper limit minus lower limit. So, once you put the upper limit, it will become a square, lower limit will make it 0. So, that does not make any difference. So, I will be just writing down the upper limit values. Okay. So, you will be having this, that h cross square upon m, and over here you will be having in the bracket, it is like it will be a square by 2 when you put the upper limit, and when you multiply it by a, it will become a cube by 2. Okay. So, a square multiplied by a became a cube, and minus this particular part will be like a cube by 3. Okay. Now, you have to take LCM and solve over here. I am not doing the lower limit part, as I have already told you. If you put 0, it will become 0 only. So, that will not make any difference. Okay. So, in the next part, it will be like h cross square upon m, and here this will be like, if you take LCM, this will be 6. and this will be 3a cube minus 2a cube, so that is going to give you just a cube upon 6. So up till here you have solved it, but now I just want to substitute h cross because the E actual is in the form of h. So I can just substitute, because h cross is equals to h upon 2 pi. So I can put that value. So h, since I'll just write down here that since h cross is equals to h upon 2 pi, so I can just substitute its value in the next step. So the value of h cross is square will be how much? That will be h square upon 4 pi square m multiplied by a cube upon 6. So that's what I have got up till now. Okay, so this is the numerator part which I got. I can just erase this. I have just told you that I have just written it to just show you. The next part is to calculate the E trial, total E trial value, right? And that was actually equal to 0 to a phi star h phi d tau divided by 0 to a phi star phi and d tau. That was the actual formula to calculate energy. So we have done the numerator part. The numerator part came out to be h square upon 4 pi square m a cube upon 6, and the denominator part has a particular value which is already given to you in the question. It's a to the power 5 by 30. So let's put it. So a to the power 5 by 30. So we can cancel out few things, right? 6 5 times is this particular thing is going to get cancelled, and this, if you cancel the powers, this will be like 3 power will be cancelled out by 2 times. So what you are going to get is this, that is 5 by 4 pi square h square by m and upon a square. This is what is going to be the value of your E trial. Now you have calculated E trial, you know the E actual value, you can just substitute both of them to find out the total energy or the percentage error in the formula. Okay, let's get back to this. This was the formula. I'll just erase this part because I don't need it. I have just explained you everything. So I'm just erasing this particular part, and we'll be doing the calculation of your percentage error. Alright. So your per E trial, we have just calculated it. You can use your calculator to find out the value of this. Okay, 5 by 4 pi square, because you are doing a GATE exam, you have the access to the calculator. So I'll be using my calculator to solve it and I'll let you just know. So this particular part, if you use calculator, this comes out around 0.1267, okay, h square upon ma square. So this is the value which you have got after solving 5 upon 4 pi square, because these were all constant value. So you can just use the calculator to it. So let's put this value over here. So the E trial value is equals to 0.1267 h square upon ma square, and the value of E actual is 1 upon 8 h square upon ma square, right? So if you do that, 1 upon 8 comes out to be like 0.125, okay, and h square upon ma square, and whole thing is divided by 0.125 h square upon ma square. Remember, I have just used this particular formula. So 1 by 8 is equals to 0.125. So I just substituted it that over here. H square upon ma square is same for both of them. In the next step, you have to subtract this. So I am just using my calculator. So 0.1267 subtracted by 0.125 is going to give me in the numerator, I will be getting 0.0017 h square upon ma square. In the denominator, I have got 0.125 h square upon ma square. So that means I can just divide this by 0.125, and overall what value I am getting after dividing this and this, because this part will get cancelled out. So I am getting 0.0136. okay. So this is what I have got in the terms of your fraction. Since I have to mention everything in percentage, so I have to express it in 100% form, right? So I have to actually multiply each step by 100%. So that means that in this step also I have to multiply it by 100. in order to convert it into percentage form. So the final answer which will come out will be 1.36 percentage. This is going to be the final answer for this particular question. So that was all about this particular video. We have done 3 questions which were asked from quantum chemistry in your GATE exam, in your GATE 2020 exam. 2 of them were MCQ, 1 of them was a numerical answer type question. I hope whatever I have taught you was helpful to you and you guys understood it well. So at the end of this video, I will just request you that if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to the channel for more educational content, for more videos like this. Like this video if you like the content. If you want to share something or if you want to ask anything, if you have any doubt, you can ask that in the comment section below. If you have any specific request about a particular topic, you can take that or you can mention that in the comments below. Share this particular video in all your groups, in all your Telegram and WhatsApp groups. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video with a new topic and with some more solutions. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye.